Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, wheeling and dealing Don Waddell. Don, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for taking the time. Have you caught your breath yet, or is the adrenaline still kind of coursing through the veins?
You know, you get you have a lot of emotions during this period of time, and you know when it's all over, you feel good about what we accomplished, and you know in time we'll catch up with the rest. And I should have started off by thank you for having me on the show, Tim.
Of course. I think that the number one question that everybody wants to know is what was different about this trade deadline, right? We've heard you're in the mix for these rentals to kind of go all in previous years, and you're looking for guys with term or you know whatever the reasoning is, it doesn't happen. Why now make the move for Jake Guentzel when those deals haven't gotten done in the past?
Well, a couple of things. One is, you know, we got our players have had last couple of years of good experience in the playoffs, and the one thing in the playoffs have come up a little bit is sometimes scoring up goals. You know, we lost Svechnikov a week after the trade deadline last year, and obviously didn't. He brings a lot to our hockey team. But this year, when we looked at it, but we also went in and said we're not going to overpay. You know, we had 14 draft picks 3 years ago, and we've ended up with a lot of good prospects. And you know, we think we have 9-10 guys for sure that are going to play in the NHL, and you can't bring them all in at the same time. You know, our Darren York, our scouting director, has done a great job with our draft, and it gave me the availability that say, okay, we have all these prospects now. We know they all can't come in the league at the same time. Let's use them to parlay them into the potential player like Jake Guentzel. And, you know, we felt the price was fair, and we said, you know, it's time to make a run at it.
What was this a one-player target, or were you talking to people all over the league looking to fill that role, right? That the goal scoring in the postseason role that's been you're looking to solve with Guentzel.
Yeah, I think he was number one target on a lot of people's list. You know, he's played 58 playoff games. He's got 58 points. He's got 34 goals in 58 playoff games, which is truly amazing when you think about how hard it is to score in playoffs. So he was our number one target, and, you know, we had a lot of competition, which, you know, again, I never worry about the competition. I worry about what we're giving up, and you just got to be comfortable that, okay, you're going to give up these assets, and it's going to give you a better chance to have success in the playoffs. So, you know, the process I thought went very well. We stuck to our guns to what we weren't going to give up our first round pick in the deal, which, you know, it's a contingent. If we go to the Stanley Cup Finals, we will give it up. I think that would be worth it. So, you know, you always measure out, you know, what you're giving up to get the player you want. And we just thought this year it all matched up where it made sense to go make the move.
Don Waddell, Canes general manager, joining us here on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Don, how much did the expiring contracts on the roster currently motivate you to bring in these final pieces right at the deadline?
You know, I think in the back of my mind it may play a small factor, but not really, because, you know, we have guys who I feel pretty good that we're going to be able to sign some of our key guys. You know, we've had some talks here and there with their agents, but we also know we can't sign them all because of, you know, the cap. You know, there's only so much money you can spend. But, you know, these guys, the current guys we had the last few years have done a great job for us, getting us to the conference finals last year and coming up short against Florida. We just thought, you know what, we were going to give them a little bit of you know, a little added bonus for what they've done for us to help them get to that next level. So, you know, the timing was right for us. I think the timing is right for our team. I know I was at practice for a little bit today because Kuznetsov showed up there today, and the guys, there's a lot of smiling faces and happy players. Now, there's a few players that are not as happy because they may lose some ice time in this deal. But overall, I think the team's pretty excited about adding these two players.
Did you have to have that conversation with Rod before any of this was made on where that pecking order might sort out, and along with those frowning faces?
Well, we always talk about it. Rod and I talk so much on a daily basis, and our job, certainly we care about all our players, but our job, particular mine as manager, we got to make sure we do what we need to do to try to get us to that next step. And we'll deal with the fallout from maybe if you guys lose a few minutes of ice time in that, and that's part of trying to build a championship team. It's Rod, as you know, loves his players and sometimes doesn't like a lot of change. And these two changes we made, he was 100% supportive of doing it. So that always makes it better when you're trying to move forward.
You mentioned that you feel good about re-signing some of the key guys. Where in that plan does Guentzel fit in as far as keeping him around beyond the rental that everybody's, that term everyone uses for this year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I know his agent real well. I haven't spoken with him yet. I believe this way. There's no reason to engage. This is a tryout period for both of us. Bring him in. We'll get to know him. He'll, we'll see how he fits on our team, and he also is trying us out. He gets an opportunity to play for Rod, get to know his teammates here. So, as we move forward and he's here for a while, I'm sure we'll circle the wagon to see what kind of deal it would look like. But I think it's better than I'm not one that says you have to have him signed before you trade for him. Let's bring him in here. We think we got a good thing going here. Great culture. We've got great players with they're very close group. And, then, if he gets here, really likes it, we have some success as a team, then I think we have a better chance of keeping that type of player.
Yeah, Don, here at 99.9 The Fan, we have a big presence at Canes Corner. We air it over the our airwaves. Couple of nights ago when Michael Bunting was at Canes Corner, did you know that he was a part of the deal? Did you know he was on his way out? How did that all play out?
Well, I didn't know excuse me, I didn't know he was on his way out. It was certainly, that's the day that the trade started to talk. And, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Kyle Dubas, who was the GM in Toronto and had Michael in juniors, really likes Bunting. He said, if I'm going to trade away the player, I need to get him back. So I knew, but to be honest, I went over to the Canes Corner on Wednesday night there a couple hours before. I'm concerned, if this deal ever happens, what do I do now? But, I didn't know. I honestly thought on Wednesday night that we were out of it. And then Thursday morning rekindled, and, it took all day and later that night to get the deal done. So I knew there was a possibility at that point, but certainly it wasn't a done deal by any imagination. So, we just let it go on, and he did a great job there for us. And when I talked to him last night, he was very thankful for the opportunity, the contract, and, going to Pittsburgh, where he's very familiar with Kyle Dubas as a GM, I think he felt very comfortable about.
Don, it sounds like it was an exhausting week. I want to get you out of here, but one more, and thank you for taking the time. Kuznetsov, sure. Was the cap space burning a hole in your pocket? It seems like as soon as we heard after the deal, the money is even, they still have this money. The Kuznetsov deal was coming right down our timelines. So how did that all happen, and how do you unlock the Kuz of a couple seasons ago that was such a prolific goal scorer?
Yeah, we started those conversations on Monday, knowing that, not knowing how everything's going to shake out. And, Justin Williams, who I speak to often, obviously works for us. He played with Kuzi in Washington when they had great success. And he just couldn't say enough good things about this guy. And he said his skill level is off the charts. He's had a little tougher start this year in the team. But, this is whenever you make a trade or you sign a free agent, it's a risk-reward type deal. And we felt the risk that we're taking here of just taking on cash versus having to give up a lot of assets, that it was a great opportunity for us to maybe bring this player back to where he was. And, we have a strong locker room, obviously led by Jordan Stahl, and that I think he'll fit real well in our locker room. And if he can become the player he was before, it's going to be a home run for us. And like I said, there's risk and reward in every kind of move you make. And this one, we did our due diligence. We did everything we needed to do to make sure that we were all on the same page and all good with it. And we got 100% support from everybody on my staff to move forward with this.
Don, thank you once again for taking the time to give us some insight into the deadline, and congratulations on a very exciting and I think well-played negotiation period leading up to a couple big moves.
No, I appreciate it, Tim. Thank you for having me today.